Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 2 of MidScale, and this is a fight we took, or I took, I should say, back in VTech 3 again. It's funny, it was the same system as the last time, but around this time, just everybody was bringing fights to Brave just all the time, and even to get off topic a little bit from the start, I didn't even really begin developing as an FC until I joined Brave, and there was just always so many people that would just come fight us. But to bring it back to this matchup, is we have about 20 Hurricanes, and we're going to be fighting a fleet of Afterburner Zealots and Omen Navies. The Omen Navies were 1600 plate fit with focus medium beams. The full fleet was AB. For support, they had 5 Arbitrators and a Pilgrim, 2 Tracking Interceptors per, which makes uh, our comp very difficult to use because that is about 12 Tracking Interceptors. The Zealots and Omen Navies did not have any kind of tracking disruptors themselves, but to set the fight up, we were a little outnumbered, so we chose to have a fax. The fax pilot in Yukiko, he didn't believe me at all. He was like, "Baller, no, you can't track afterburner cruisers with hurricanes." And I take the position that you can make any weapon type apply to any ship as long as you have the right setup. So right now, they're pretty much set at the gate at 0. We are basically warping right into the bubble, right into the ball of them. And when it comes to artillery, and when it comes to hurricanes, you have to baby your tracking.
Okay.
You have to just set yourself up for the most
Okay, guys,
perfect
reload.
possible
Uh,
transversal. And so for our cases, we want to be sitting between 15 and 20
let's start
kilometers of
fusion. Reload
whatever
fusion.
we're
Everybody
shooting.
reload fusion. Everybody.
I call for a reload diffusion. My plan here is I'm going to ignore the zealots, and I pretty much just want to shoot anything but a zealot. They have Oniroses and Executor's for Logi. They have Omen Navies, Arbitrators. Fusion applies great into close range explosive ammo. So my plan is uh, remove a little bit of DPS at the start and remove a bit of track and disruption.
Reload fusion right now.
So as we load grid, you can see this is pretty substantial.
Make sure you guys. Oh my God.
Whenever you load grid, you want to look at the overview. You want to look at see if there's any boosters. You want to see what distance you're going to land at. You want to look at to see where they're at, because what they want to do, they didn't end up doing this, which I'm not faulting anyone for. But this hyena is actually the most critical part of their entire fleet comp. If they can get a web on my Cyclone, then what they can do is beams will outtrack artillery. If they just load multi, and I say multi and not gleam on purpose, then if they can just get an orbit of me of about 5,000, it doesn't matter how many webs I have. Basically, unless transversal is 0 in that circumstance, I should not hit. This should be a near impossible fight for me to take, and it was a very
Oh, this
big
is gonna be
mistake for me
so
not to
good.
shoot this hyena right away.
Alright, guys, you
I
catch
do
it now.
think shooting
Fusion
the
loading.
Magus
He says
first is important.
fusion load.
The reason why removing a Magus first is important is if you look around, I didn't see many Lynx ships. So one, you're removing a Lynx ship, very helpful to do at the start of the fight because then they don't get the bonuses for the duration of almost the entire fight. And I also should have light drones be going on this hyena, and
Loaded.
maybe even artillery too.
Fusion loaded.
As long as the transversal isn't bad, you can shoot hyenas
Up.
with artillery.
We're gonna let's get webs in this Magus. Let's get webs in this Magus. I want everybody to prop on. I want to wait 3.
Notice when it comes to hurricanes, you have to babysit your artillery the entire time. Unless you're trading against a battleship comp, you have to just be so precise because the tracking is so terrible. So what I'm going to do first is this is done in a very specific order. You call out webs on the front end of, the, of what you want to shoot. I'm going to tell people to prop on. I'm telling them to lock only. And then once I wait until I get everyone anchor, we're right in our optimal. I wait for the MWDs to turn off so our tracking isn't messed up by a high speed, and
2
then we
seconds
shoot.
for links before we do it. Let's get scrams in that Magus. Scrams in the Magus. You're locking only on the Magus. Lock only on the Magus. Keep your props on. Props off now. Props off. 3, 2, 1. Fire on the Magus. Fire on the Magus. Fire on. Good job. Here we go, team. Lock at the Soma Navy.
So at this point, the other reason why I wanted to shoot the Magus is we came with the fax. We didn't have enough people to have like a real Logi wing be sustainable, so we had to bring a fax or just not take the fight at all. So removing the only ship that can get us out of fax range is pretty critical, especially because even if you have anti-boosh things in fleet like a Hick, it's not consistent and it's not reliable.
Snowman
Oftentimes the
Navy.
grids are just too chaotic that you have to just take
Okay,
them
here.
out yourselves.
3, 2, 1. Fire in the Omen Navy. Fire in the Omen Navy. Good job. We're going to do the arbitrators because they're tracking disruptor. Lock up that arbitrator. Let's just lock and fire on that arbitrator.
Because the arbitrators is, in my opinion, going to be a little bit easier to destroy than anything else on grid. I call a lock and fire on it. I don't know how I
Props
feel
running.
about that.
Props running. Lock up Lucy in their arbitrator. You're firing on dark shooter. Keep firing. Keep firing.
In bigger fights, you'll hear FCs just say, no, just keep your artillery going full time. Don't worry about sinking fire. But in these mid-scale fights, when you just barely have enough to alpha through what you're shooting, then you need to synchronize your fire.
Firing. Keep props on one more cycle. Fire on Lucy now. Fire
We're
on...
getting a little, earlier I mentioned you want to be around 20 kilometers off your target when it comes to artillery. So I think I am pulling a little bit too far. This is the facts right here, so I do think the positioning it's okay, but I really don't want to get too much further. Shield faxes have an optimal of about 30 kilometers, so you really want to be
Lucy.
remaining
Fire
on
on Lucy.
optimal, especially with this high damage comp and shooting right into our EM hole.
Secondary Warren. Secondary Warren. I'm aware of our range. Let's... lock me up.
Notice how the damage is also decreasing too. The last arbitrator was far easier to destroy than this one,
Kiko.
and
It's Fire on Warren. Fire on Warren in the arbitrator.
another thing. I don't consider this a headshot. I also don't care about headshotting. In my opinion, it's part of the game. And if you're not prepared to deal with it, then you suffered like you deserved to suffer.
Warren in the arbitrator. Secondary Catherine.
Another thing with these tracking disruptors, we can even put this in Pytha. We'll put it in Pytha for a second. Let's see, gonna hurt HFI. Now let's just do it on a hurricane real quick. For anybody who doesn't know, export EFT, left click once, right click copy, get it right into Python. And let's get an arbitrator. You pretty much almost, unless you're on top of them, you want to use optimal range deceptions. So then, this is not accounting for info links, which will make both the defense and offensive be a little bit easier to manage. But look at it's 20 plus 32 right now. This is the ranges. 2 tracking disruptors with optimals wrecks this. This means, and you know what? We'll even do it with 1. We'll just unclick 1. This means at 40 kilometers, if they actually managed to tracking disrupt equally amongst the fleet, I should be doing no damage at my range that I'm currently at. That's why it's so tracking disruptors are one of the most overpowered modules in the game when it comes to mid-scale fleet PvP as well as large scale.
Okay, we're gonna burn a little closer. Keep your props on. Keep your props on. Secondary Catherine, make sure he's locked up. We're firing on Warren.
But that's why we're seeing the damage be so diminished. Is that some people are probably missing completely.
All right, we're gonna red cycle, red cycle, red cycle, red cycle, red cycle everything.
Notice how I went on for a prop
everything.
As I said red cycle.
Everything. Your microwave traps are off right now. Your microwave traps are off.
I should have called one more prop cycle of MWD. These guys in the back, they need to catch up. But right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to get closer. This hyena really could have just saved the day for them, but it wasn't called.
Fire on
probably.
Catherine. Fire on Catherine. Lock up Milton.
This isn't good. People are still MWDing off, so their speeds are still high. This guy should live, even though I'm 20 kilometers closer. The tracking is just going to be much worse with our high speed, and this guy's... Catherine. When we're going on this parallel line, this guy who's just kind of aiming slowly like this, it is a very favorable transversal for this arbitrator. So really, this guy should be a very hard kill. We have bled some hurricanes at this point.
Let's get webs on Nolan in the arbitrator.
Now let's compare this to the last guy we just shot. Also, somebody just shot. Always reinforce to your fleet when to shoot and when not to shoot, especially in a countdown comp like hurricanes.
3, 2, 1. Fire on Nolan. Fire on Nolan.
See, notice when you get your transversal just right, it just nukes him. This reinforces what I'm saying earlier. You have to babysit your artillery.
pour in. Let's get webs on Norton. All right, 3, 2, 1. Fire on Warren. Fire on Warren. Good job.
Someone, once we had our perfect transversal up, I think it's very fair to say that we could have just said lock and fire, even though some people would still be cycling and not able to shoot. I think that'd be very fair. But at that point, it's the last tracking disrupting arbitrator on grid. So at this point, we are losing some hurricanes. However, we should still have critical mass at this range to be able to one-shot, or very close to.
Put drones in this hyena.
Yeah, finally catch that.
That's Nomen of Tanny. We're gonna microwave drive on right now.
So I know the video gets kind of weird when the fireworks goes off. But notice I say lock and MWD. If your target is afterburning at any kind of angle and you are 10 kilometers from your target, your artillery will not hit. So at this point, I need to pull range, but I also need to be mindful of where the fax is positioned. So we have to MWD, stay within 30 kilometers of the fax, and then also get within a good optimal for our artillery. Also, whenever you have a target locked up like this and you're trying to find a speed, there will just be a slight hint right here. It's not a bad idea to, right before you're ready to shoot, just to get the perfect shot, wait until his speed finishes going downwards, because it's an incremental loss when it comes to webbing. It's not instant. Notice I say keep micro drives on as I'm turning mine off. I should be having one more cycle for the full fleet.
All right, turn your micro drives off. 3, 2, 1. Fire on Tanny. Secondary Mare.
The tracking's still not that good.
You're firing on Tanny.
Yeah, I didn't wait for the speed to drop. It was, and this is what I mean when it comes to babysitting your artillery. You really have to.
Keep damage on Tanny for the moment. Secondary Riguri in the exec.
I don't like a switch to the executors. I really don't. We really need to be removing DPS at this point. I really dislike. I think I'm taking the stance that because I can't DPS through a Nomen that I have to shoot Logi. I really dislike this. I think I should be giving it another good faith attempt at a 0 transversal shot on another Nomen.
Red cycle. Lock up Riguri. Let's get webs in Riguri.
And notice, at the top of the screen, you gotta wait for his speed. I'm waiting for it.
No damage yet.
You don't have to wait for your target to be webbed. Now, a more prudent me would be zooming in a little bit. If I see his ships going on this kind of trajectory, and if I happen to be going this kind of trajectory, you do not need to wait for your webs to apply. So what I'm doing, it's a bit lazy, but...
1, fire Riguri. Secondary broadcast, Megora in the exec.
See, if we could do that to an executor, I think we should be able to do that to a Nomen. On a not too much different scale. I really think poor-sighted of me to shoot.
You guys have your hardeners on.
DPS. I mean, to shoot Logi. We should be shooting DPS right now.
1, fire Megori. When this guy dies, I want you to turn on your micro drives when this guy dies.
I said Megori. People may know. I really don't have the best vision. I've got an eye condition, and it's sometimes seeing these words or people's names is hard for me.
I want you to turn on your micro drives. Yeah, you guys just turn on your micros. Red cycle, everything.
I think what I thought here is that we're too close and we're screwing up our tracking. So at that point, we got to pull just a little bit more range.
Turn on your micro warp drives.
Also, notice how I went out from this and then up towards this fax.
Okay. Lock up optic. Let's get webs on optic. Keep your prop mod.
Oh, sorry, friendly. It's my Discord ping. I really need to. One of these days, I'm gonna mute it, but it's not gonna be today.
I guess.
I should see
one more cycle.
That's what you want to do. You want to wait for yours to turn off and then say one more cycle for everyone. This means everyone's gonna comfortably get on anchor.
One more cycle. In 3, 2, 1. We're firing an optic. Fire optic.
At this range, we should be able to get pretty good volley on him.
Secondary Anna in the exec. Good job.
Man, I'm hating myself for this. I really should be shooting Nomens right now. By Nomen, I mean Omen Navy issue.
2, 1. Fire an Anna. Secondary's Dan. Stay on him, stay on him, stay on him.
I think this guy
Start the
catches,
cycle.
if I remember right. Oh,
Nice.
look at that.
Sweet,
So
sweet.
close. So remember to have people engage their drones. I don't even remember if these Hurricanes had ECM drones or damage drones, but that's a moment where it would have made the difference.
Alright, let's red cycle, let's red cycle, let's red cycle, red cycle, red cycle. Red cycle, red cycle, red cycle. Let's get webs on Dan, webs on Dan. Oh, webs on Dan. Keep Anna locked up. Alright, we're just gonna wait a second. In 3, 2, 1, fire on Dan, fire on Dan.
Should be a pretty good shot.
Secondaries Anna.
We're not
Again,
moving,
same
basically. Yeah, so when someone's webbed and you're basically not moving and they have poor transversal, you're just going to blow them up at this range. And they don't have any track interceptors left to shield DPS, so.
Let's get webs back on Anna, webs back on
God,
Anna.
I really should be. This is such a mistake from me. It's a mistake for also a couple more reasons. We're still kind of losing Canes, and I'm shooting Logi. If we run out of DPS and they run out of Logi, they still have a lot of DPS and can just kind of kill everyone. So this is such a mistake. At this point, we really have quelled a lot of the Logi down that even if we're unable to shoot a gnome or alpha a Gnomon, we might be able to break it through. 4 Oni arrows is a lot of rep power. On a Tech 1 hull, I would expect that to be around 1700 EHP per second. An Artillery Hurricane's probably about 450 DPS, so if you take 750, divide that by the 400 DPS. Basically, 1 Oni arrows will equal about 5 Hurricanes in terms of rep power.
Wait for him to slow down. Everybody should have Anna locked up.
Yeah, notice how I said wait till we slow down. I'm also waiting for this guy to slow down too.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, fire.
This should be just a clean nuke.
Lock up Mora, lock up Mora, lock up Mora. We should get him before the reps land. Good job. Let's get webs and Anna. Let's prop on once. Everybody prop on once. Prop on
Ah,
once.
man, it's so disappointing that I'm not shooting DPS.
Oh, sorry,
I really
Mora.
should have
Sorry,
been.
Mora. Okay, prop on once.
Notice how I called the prop too. It's because these guys they're actually trying to pull into us. Really, if they just had one guy with a scrammer or a web just to keep me locked down, they could have orbited me at 2500 and I would have fed this whole fleet.
3, 2, 1, fire on Mora. Yeah, we will.
Notice how the damage was a lot
Well,
worse.
Steve-
It's because our transversal is increasing due to our basically the fact that we're micro driving at all, and that's just not always, but most of the time that ends up increasing transversal.
Steven the Noman.
Finally broadcasting a Gnomon.
Good job. Have Steve locked up. Let's call webs on him. No damage yet. Your micros are off right now. 3, 2, 1, fire on Steve. Fire.
Should
on
be a
Steve.
clean nuke.
Good job. Lock up this Noman. We're gonna prop on. We're not gonna fire yet, guys.
I don't like a prop mod on. I think I'm getting scared that these guys are starting to get a little too close to me, but I think it's okay. I do think it's okay that I just focus on shooting DPS right now.
We're locking only on Gallon. No damage. Webs though. Keep your micro traps on.
So I should say one more cycle of MWD for the full fleet. I really should say that.
3, 2,
We should
1,
miss
fire on
this.
Gallon, fire
This
on
is a
Gallon.
bad shot. Yeah, like this is. It's not because we were losing Hurricanes. It's because we just had very poor transversal. And again, you have to babysit your artillery.
Stay on him.
With 4 Oni Aroses though, they should very easily be able to tank this.
Okay.
Even without armor links, they'll be fine.
Yeah, stay in the summon.
Also notice that we're not so much in our damage optimal anymore.
Alright, lock up Proto. Let's get webs on
30 is not bad
Webs
for
on
fusion,
Proto.
but
Webs on Proto, please. Let's red cycle. Red cycle. Let's get webs on Proto. They're gonna be using their reps right now. I guess let's swap to Proto. Swap to Proto. I understand the guy's almost.
yeah. So when it's just important to be decisive. Even if it looks like someone's about to go down, just be decisive and trust your last call. You're just going to create more confusion and less cohesiveness if you just keep going. Oh, now we shoot him. Oh, whoops. Oh, this guy's catching. Well, it looks like this other guy might go. No, just one direction. Just go down that path. Stick to it.
Dead.
No, I don't know if people weren't listening to me or if it was maybe there's also a couple other blues over there. I don't know if they were shooting him, but
Matter of fact, let's prop on. Everybody turn your props on.
Yeah, 10 kilometers is kind of the danger range for canes when it becomes a little bit trickier to track even web
We're
targets.
probably not gonna kill this one, but we're gonna lock up Roland. Lock up Roland. This is gonna be our boy, or maybe we will kill him. Yeah.
I
Kill
think
Roland.
there
Kill
is a
Roland.
split
Keep your
primary. I
props
think a
running.
blue fleet may have showed up at some point, so I think there's a split primary going on, and the Oneiroses are struggling.
We're gonna go back to Gallon. Let's get webs on Gallon. Damage drone.
At this point, this guy's so low, just tell people to continue firing. This guy's barely tanking with whatever other fleet was shooting him. So this means if you just add a little bit of even reduced damage, I say reduced because the tracking won't quite be right, you'll still likely end up getting the kill anyway.
Let's just fire at will on Gallon. Fire at will on Gallon. You're now going to turn your prop mods on for one more cycle.
Notice I say one more cycle and mine's off. That means all these other dudes kind of in the back trying to catch up. It'll give them an opportunity to get back on anchor.
Gallon. Yep.
Oh, so they still have another tracking disruption ship. That Pilgrim was tracking disruption fit.
We're going to go back to countdowns. Let's get webs on Roland. Webs on Roland. Yeah, props off right now. Unless you're not with me. 3, 2, 1. Fire Roland. Fire Roland. Fire Roland.
But at this point, it's
Omen Navy broadcasted.
At this point, it's more of the same. Just I think I'm a little bit too far. I think I want to be closer to 20 kilometers.
Merrick broadcasted. He's damaged already. Secondary Merrick. Let's get another cycle into him. Yeah, we're still on Roland right now. Just keep Merrick locked up.
I think some people could say I should have shot an Oneirus right now, but I think it would have been more difficult. Even this was pre-resist patch, so fusion into Oneirus is good, but I don't think it would have been enough to kill an Oneirus kill. So I think shooting T1 hulls is still the correct play.
Prop on. Only one cycle. All right, in 3, 2, 1, fire.
Notice this guy is like webbed as shit. So, and our transversal, even though our micro drives are on, it's still pretty decent. This guy should fall over, I would think.
Okay.
Not as well as I thought.
Lock up the Pilgrim.
This is a pretty bad call.
Good job.
This is actually a very bad call because I have fusion loaded. Tech 2, Amara, and a Pilgrim. Let's pull up a Pilgrim and Pytho real quick. Oh my god, I just typed Pytho into Pytho. Not an armor, but you get the idea. We'll just pop some enams in here. That's what I mean. It's very high. That's my point. You can get this to like 90% pretty reliably once you get armor links in there too. And if you don't know this, you can right click here, projectile ammo, fusion, shooting a lot of explosive. It's a terrible idea.
Props are off right now. Actually, let's prop on one more cycle just to make sure everybody gets on.
Yeah, that's what I meant. These guys are kind of strung out a little bit, so I wanted to give everyone a chance to get on anchor.
2, 1, fire an archer in the Pilgrim. Pilgrims can be pretty squishy, so we'll see. Yeah. There we go.
Oh, we still got him. I still dislike the call.
BIX.
This guy, he's kind of closing in on us, so I want to be double clicking over here. I hope I do it.
Let's prop on twice, everybody. Prop on twice. We're gonna pull a lot of range. No damage yet. No damage.
Also, notice my movements are actually kind of like in an orbit. I'm going up this way. The fax is actually this way, so
props running.
I'm still trying to manage to be within fax rep range.
Oh. Okay, just fire. Okay.
I think someone else was shooting him too. Like there's like a couple. I don't know what ships they were in, but.
Oneirus. Let's get webs on him. MNE in the Oneirus. Let's get webs on him. Keep your props running.
At this point, we've reduced so much damage. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. They only have 11 DPS ships left. I think it's pretty difficult for them to shoot a cane, so I think it's very fair to go for an Oneirus just to try.
Good job. All right, everybody turn off your micro drives. Turn off.
Bad call. I should have said prop on one more time. And we're way too far to get to alpha this Oneirus. We're way too far from him.
In 3, 2,
I should miss this.
1, fire in the Oneirus. MNE. Fire.
So let's talk about why this volley was so terrible.
Only yours, MNE.
Look, I'm gonna back up even more. This guy is kind of moving like
3,
this.
2.
He's going to our left. Our guys are going to our right with their micro warp drives on. This is the worst transversal for us to try and shoot this guy with. So this means even though he's webbed, it's still crap because we're actually out. He's actually going 50 ms right over here, but we're basically out tracking ourselves and also at a decently far enough range
Fire in the Oniers, MNE.
to shoot fusion. Yeah, his HP just barely moves. Just all grazing hits and drones right there.
Hold damage, hold damage, hold damage. Oh, okay. Let's. Yeah, tackle. We cannot follow, so just spread whatever scrams you guys can.
Yeah, at this point, I didn't want to follow. Our only logi was the fax, so
you get pointed.
Basically nothing we can do to follow.
Fire on Zealot. Fire on the Zealot. Odd. We cannot leave without our fax. Fire. Okay, yeah, just go out. We get scram in this malediction next. Put light drones on the malediction.
And for the record, I have updated my overview since then. This was a modified version of Zarvox's, but I'll go into mechanics, another video of overviews and how to be comfortable.
Let's get light drones on the malediction.
But for fleets, you can't use something like this. You need to be able to have tabs for logis and dictors and recon and stuff like that.
Stay on the Zealot.
Also, we shot fusion at a Zealot. That's pretty crap too for the same reasons. Zealot's highest resist will always be kinetic explosive being the highest. So we're shooting basically into 90% resists.
Good job. let's get you out of triage for the moment. Just stay out.
It's pretty much the end of it. I think we actually chase into them in a second.
All right, let's loot.
Oh man, wasn't this a mistake?
What am I doing? I pushed the gate.
Yeah, I would say I'm 50 off the gate for reasons that make no sense. I should have called for links being down too. And if I was good, I would have had a jag bubble for the dictor, but that might have prevented them from even wanting to warp in the first place.
Let's prop on, links down, links down. Yeah, let's get the save. They're afterburner. Let's do it. Yukiko, burn to the gate.
Telling the fax to burn to the gate. That ain't gonna happen.
Prop on approach gate.
This is a little aggressive.
Alright guys. Tackle can go. Everybody else is holding.
Alright, so when you see tackle can go, I should have told them to hold their cloaks because we're still aggressive for like 10 seconds.
10 seconds, so. Light tackle can go. Everybody else is holding. Okay, everybody jump through. Jump through, and Canes, hold your cloak. We have one scythe.
We have one scythe for lock.
Alright guys, hold your invuln for a second.
I also should have called the reload. The most of this is tech 2. Well, I guess we can shoot Onis and Nomans, but we can't shoot any Zealots well with fusion. And also at this range, it's kind of difficult. They could actually just brawled it out right here and kind of gotten a lot done because we're also right on top of them. And being on top of each other is just not what you want to be for the Hurricanes. These armor hacks and Nomans, they want to be like 5,000 meters from us.
Everybody decloak. Let's lock up the Zealots and Claire.
Oh, I ate that as a first primary. I got fusion.
Prop on twice. Let's get links up. Prop on twice.
So even though we'll likely lose a couple Hurricanes doing this, I think the total amount of damage is low enough that it's kind of okay to do this without logic. Yeah, we'll take some losses, but we're likely going to wipe them. Even without logi, just based on the number of canes we have. So I think it's okay to do this without logi.
Right, fire on Sinclair. Some people might miss. It's okay. Fire on Sinclair. Let me know when you actually get kind of close to jump range, Yukiko.
Also, we have a Hick being a hero with his bubble up right now.
Oh my god. It's fine. Just stay on Sinclair, guys. Good job.
I think I was just a little indecisive on what I wanted to shoot next.
Oh, he's dead or something? Lock up Roland. Roland's gonna be primary.
At this point, just have people lock and fire. This is less about trying to maximize our tracking, trying to maximize our alpha strike, and more about just getting whatever kills we can. And when people are running from you, you just lock and fire.
In primary in the Omen Navy. Can we broadcast a zealot that is scrammed?
I think I should be micro driving right now. I don't think I'll screw up the tracking too much because he's basically scrammed and webbed and not moving. So I think it's okay for me to be micro driving to get
Let's
into
prop on.
better
Let's
damage
prop
range.
on. Secondary mated. Secondary mated. Actually, let's prop off. Let's prop off. Fire and mated. Fire and mated. Some of you might miss. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not. We're not hitting this guy. He's way too
Yeah,
close
there's a zealot.
and
Let's get
unwebbed.
webs on. We need all webs unmated right now. He's almost at the gate.
Okay, well I guess I'm trying to get some before he crashes the gate. That makes a little sense, but this is like almost. This is an impossible shot. Michael Jordan couldn't make this shot.
Right now.
That's not an ADC. Should just shoot the prophecy right now.
Yep, everything's unmated right now. We gotta do this together because we have very little logi.
Oh man, this is just
Okay,
terrible.
prop on
I
once.
should just. This is like embarrassing. I should not be shooting the zealot.
We're gonna prop on once and we're gonna remain.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, prop on. We'll start track. We'll
Prop
track.
on twice, guys. Prop on twice. Prop on twice.
So even though I only wanted to go to the duration of likely one prop mod, you always have to call twice, so that way everybody in the back always gets on anchor. Always have the fleet do one more prop cycle than what you need. Or rather, when I say you need, I mean you as the ship you, not you as in the fleet.
Secondary Oni broadcast Kosi. Secondary Kosi. We're gonna stay on the zealot.
But now we're gonna see this guy. He'll get tracked in a second.
Okay, then let's lock up the other Oneiros. Boy secondary. Boy secondary. Boy is secondary. Stay unmated. Good job. We're just gonna lock and fire on Boy. Boy in the Oneiros. Boy in the Oneiros primary.
At this point, it's pretty much just cleanup. At this point, you just gotta have your tackle broadcast for reps. I don't know if I'll even finish it. You know, we'll watch this on faster speed. There's likely not much interesting things gonna be happening.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rev. Fire Boy. Secondary is Cusidios. Fire
I'm just gonna speed up.
Okay, then we'll do Sensi second. Sensi.
God, I wish I just. So it's kind of embarrassing that I'm shooting fusion right now. Like, just commit to shooting Nomans or Onieroses with fusion, or just reload to phase plasma and shoot the zealots. And then just go all the way down until one of those categories has been removed, and then you reload. This back and forth is just dumb. It's very inefficient. These guys are just great guys, just fighting to the death. You know, Spectre Fleet, they don't go out to bring their ships home. Everything they dock, it's like a expect to die. This might have even been one of their ganked fleets, which is I think it's like a weekend roam they do, where they just go out and earn something shiny. And it's like their weekly event.
I just killed Prof. Guys, go Prof. Gimmick fight. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that was.
All right, let's loot. Let's go links to red.
A very fun fight. Some people doubted our ability to track Afterburner armor hacks with Hurricanes, and I think it's justified in that it's very difficult to do it, but it can be done. You can make anything apply to anything with the right amount of effort and setup. And just to get the battle report, I don't have the one handy for the one in BTAC 3, but this is the one in Victor 3. It overall went pretty well. We did lose quite a lot of Canes, and I suspect there was some reshipping in here too. But Spectre definitely came, you know, and got what they wanted. They got a good fight. I was happy to be able to give it to them. At least to show off some of the fits. Yeah, I guess this is also pre-resist era. Having a rolled plate kind of stinks, but sometimes you do what you got to do. Triple large is good. Scan res is great to do when you're not being jammed as a default. And this is what I meant by the arbitrators too. Double tracking disrupting. It's yeah. I'm really glad I got those from the start. I think the SIBO is because there's being. I think Brave is very popular for ECM. They probably just had every armor ship put on a SIBO just because there's so many ECM, so many Griffins that can be out for Brave. But I'm gonna be honest, arbitrators just go all in on tracking disruptors. They're bonused on an arbitrator hull, so I think they should have won with an additional tracking disruptor and just run optimal full time. And then the Nomans, they also had a SIBO. The track computer's fine. I don't like the sensor booster, but overall, good fits and it was a great fight. So thanks everyone for watching episode 2. I don't know when I'll be doing episode 3, but we had a really good fight against Shadow Cartel and Dead Terrorists. I think we'll do that one next. So again, everyone is more than welcome to leave a comment. If you want to send me a video, send it to me, in game if possible, or if you need to send it via like a different method, that's fine too. I'd be happy to look at anyone's fights. Any FC out there is more than welcome to send me a video, and I'd be happy to go over it in detail with everyone on the channel. And also, anyone is always welcome to message me a question. A lot of the times, it seems like alliances don't. A lot of the null ones don't really give great support to up and coming FCs, and I think it hinders the game a little bit. So it's another reason why I wanted to do this. So let me say, I hope everyone has a great day, and see you in the next video.